Masechet Hullin Daf Tet Zayin Amud Aleph, 2 lines down. Amar Mor. Hashohet b'muchni shehatot kishrav. Someone slaughtered with a wheel. We said before, like it's kasher if the knife was attached to the wheel. V'hatanya shita p'sul. In other words, it's pasul. It's not kasher. Had this b'sanan de pahra, had b'sanan de maya. If it's a potter's wheel, which is done manually, that's kasher. Pasul if it's used by a force of water, therefore it's not be done by a person. Even the answer have a seven minute both water wheels. Like I just still not a contradiction. Have a koch rishon if it's done by a person's primary force is kosher. Have a koch sheni if it's secondary force is pasul. Yachi hadam ala papad is similar. Have papad haidman de kapsul have someone tied his friend. The ashkil aleha bit kedemaya b'meit and he pours water. He fills up the room with water, for example, and he calls him to the I have my time why. Because technically it was his arrows, and the water was like an arrow that he made the guy drown. However, primarily. But if he did it secondary, he he is considered indirect. Nachyad mita from bedin, but b'dei shemayim maybe chayav, obviously. If let's say he had slowly let the water rise instead of throwing him into the water. كتيبة بقى حول بدر بحياة بربي حياة كما در ربي يتف ربي كما ربي was saying ميناش تشهور تلوش I know the slaughter has been done with something detached from the ground شنو مر بيكا ختها أخذت الأشحوت Abraham took the knife to slaughter Yitzhak took must be was detached أما later رب بدر حياة ما كما what's the proof ما he says فاب دختيب أب أبتاك أمر he said that a letter and it's full of cracks is written like on a piece of on a tree trunk, meaning a letter Vav written across the tree trunk would be broken in many places because of the bark. And he says the same way that's true. What you just said does not make sense. It's that your proof is not good. Whereas V'haka'akama is the Hebrew proof for himself from Abraham. He says no. K'razirus to Abraham kamashlam. Pasuk just telling that Abraham ran to take the knife to go to the mitzvah. No proof that it was detached. Amarava. Tishtali Telush Lubasov Hybrid, obvious to me that something was originally detached and you reattached it. Liana Chavim Hale Telush regarding Avdazras, it's still considered detached. Right? So in general, if you have something that's detached from the ground, it can become Avdazra. Something attached cannot. If you reattached it, it's still considered detached. Le'inyan Tamar more like we said. مش هحفظ لبايش not someone battle to his house. أسرع makes stressor. Based on that, having محبوب from is attached to the ground. Elohim Elohim passes on the mountains. Elohim Elohim not the actual mountains. Seemingly, we know mountains cannot become asur because they're attached to the ground, not the mountains themselves. So to a house. Therefore, a house which is technically detached from the ground and reattached to the ground when you build it, it's not considered attached. It's considered detached and can't become asur. Lian Hechsher Zra'im regarding to things that could become tameh. تلاقي محطوطين تعمل أساسا كوفيك على كنت someone turned a plate on top of the wall while it was raining and that caused rainwater to drip down onto some fruits. بيشيل شتى we did it purposely to let it get rinsed by water. هذا بكي yutan that's considered placed and therefore it becomes susceptible to ma. بيشيل شلو يلقى if he did that on purpose in order so that the wall should not get damaged. In a bechiyutan, it's not considered purposely letting the fruits get watered and not susceptible to ma. Hagul Vakasha, when second condition. Amar Bishashidach mentions that the plate should get rinsed. How does Vihitan that's considered directly? Habishashidach, they want the wall to be rinsed, and the Vikrokitan, it's not considered directly. Vartan then we said, Bishash if you want to stop the wall from being damaged, and the Vihitan is not considered direct as well. But Habishashidach, we want the wall to be rinsed, seemingly that is would be considered. So the inference of each other seemingly is the opposite. The Gemara says, it's true. The Brata thought this part did not say that part, meaning different opinions in the Breta. Sorry. Rapapa Amar different answer. Kula Hatana it's old time Sintana. Habakota Mara, the first case is talking about a case of a wall of a cave. Habakota Binyan. This second case is talking about a case of a wall building. Mahakamar therefore explain as follows. Hakofek Hara Kota If you turn the plate on top of the wall so that the plate should get washed, Hazebech Bitan is direct, and the fruits that will get wet from that is Tamet. Can become Tamet. If you want the wall to be rinsed, it's not direct and not susceptible to ma. Remember, when that applied to Kotamara by a cave. Regarding a building, if it's only so that the wall will not damage, that's not considered directly placement. If we want the wall to be washed, then it is considered placed for set up his mom. بعد بقى has a question. تلوش وبصوب حبيرو of someone with detached and then reattached. لينش تهمي what's the status regarding شخيتا? You use that to slaughter. Tashma bring a proof. Yeah, sorry, you're saying like hotel. We had this before. Something was attached to the wall, like a stone. Or yeah, can I already have level or read it through it? Which I have when it started Pistolat Paso. Must be the rock was there placed afterward. Reattached the says Achan because of Mara. I mean, somewhere a wall, a cave that has always been part of the ground. They can prove it to you. Time to me, the kind of let me laugh because it brought it with the second case was juxtaposed by a case of a reed growing by itself, seemingly. Shramina, both are naturally not reattached. Tashma, Na'at Sakin Bakot Vishaipa, someone stuck a knife into the wall and slaughtered. She looks kosher, seemingly it's reattached. Branch is not proof. Shani Sakin, knife is different. The lobe and vatilla, because the person is not nullified to the wall. He's putting it there to be held. Uh, a wood branch, however, might be reattached to the ground to be nullified back to the ground. Okay. Tashma. Mahbar the Karaka, she looks someone slaughtered something attached to the ground, that's pasul. Seemingly only detached, but if it's reattached, Visha Kasher. Martin, no, Dilma, Pedro Kamafarish, maybe the Berta is explaining itself. My Mahabal was attached, Sakin Dilumba, something that is not nullified to the ground. Okay, more. Naat Sakin Bakota was hype of some sort of coming wall and sort of said she talked Shas Kasher. I'm not of Anana Martian well, Lash and Ella Shasakin, the Mala was 5 millimeter. That only applies when the knife was above and the neck was below. I was like in the matter was valid by Malamala, but if the knife was below and the neck was above, Hashina were worried. Shema Didros, maybe he might use a pressing slice instead of cutting. Now the Bretta says, bench is a king to mata b'safar ma'ad whether or not the knife was on top, was below and the neck on top, bench is a king to mata b'safar ma'ad whether the knife was in the bottom, top, and the knife was next below. It's a kasher. Against Shmuel, the one says the Mara's read, this is Tani, he's teaching you to surah al-khot. Sakina mata b'safar ma'ad if the knife's under and the neck above, betelush, that's kasher if the knife was detached. Sakina mata b'safar ma'ad but if the knife was above and the neck below, regarding the knife was attached. That's like Shmuel. Rabbi Bar says, the all fed the kadil. The second method is talking about a bird. It's very light. Therefore, even if it's from the knife is below, it's not a problem. But a heavier animal, if the knife is below, it might press. Amar b'hizda b'rayithak. Ba'amri la matitena. Hamishat v'arim nemdu b'kurumit shel kanat. 5 things regarding the stem of a reed. En shahadima, you can't slaughter with it. Ben malimbo, you can't use it for a brit milah. Ouch. Ben hatina babasar, you can't cut meat with it. Ben hasasinis v'shnayim, you can't pick your teeth. Ben mekan himban, you can't wipe yourself with it. Why? And Shratim, you can't slaughter with it, but 1 second, the Braita says, "Kol hachotina ben b'tzor b'tzuhi b'neged b'tzuhi b'chana." But he said, Mishnah clearly says that you can use a reed. That's the talking about a case of a part of the marshlands. And the reason why you can't use the marshlands ones is because they have multiple sides, and that might splinter and cause that inadequate shechita. The mechatim b'basar, you can't cut meat with it. The Papa will use it either to cut fish innards because it's transparent and therefore if something gets stuck, you could take it out. Rabbi use to cut the soft parts of the bird because also it won't cause the multiple pieces to splinter. You can't wipe yourself. Is that because it's danger? Typically, Mishum Damamor because it was there, make it have the Vasha or Mishutable. You want to say something that's flammable, you can't wipe yourself with flammable. Shinu, I'm sure because it could cause damage to the rectum. Shina Nashrut. This maybe that's the reason. The Gemara says, not even that. Kinoach mi pima kaka. I mean, it's not wiping the wound. Even that also, we're worried about wiping a wound because it could get stuck inside. Okay. Hakol shahatin balim shahatin. Any our Mishnah is very peculiar. All are slaughtered, we can always slaughter. And then we also said at the end, what was that last line? Stand by. The last line of that Mishnah was Ubakol shahatin. Hakol ul ubakol. Very interesting wording. Okay. Hakol shahatin means everybody's hakol b'shahita. All animals are chayav shechita b'afilu of even bird. The shahatin mean we always slaughter. My time was according to Marbad. Abish malay contribution. The verses Yikerahi Hashem Lokecha et gibul lecha asher dibelach. When Hashem will expand your boundaries. The Amar Tali tell you, Achal asar go eat meat. And you say, I will eat meat. Rishman teaches you that you're allowed to eat meat. Stam for your benefit. Yani not for any reason. شبت كده أنا أصلا بزرگ vaccinations we weren't allowed to eat that. which is Israel who tell him بس اللي بموت in Israel that have meat for everyone. فعشان شغلون هذا بيجي أنت exile يا أخوي يصيروا يصيروا نجون maybe might think that you could we go back to the initial Isur that you can't eat meat for no reason. This is the Quran. Like I was thinking that we learned that Imam Shahatin you can even have meat nowadays. Thank God. Mas كده رئيس الكيسة says حي Imam Shahatin. That how you explain that we always slaughter لا علام شحاتين وأخلين بعد that mean we can always slaughter and eat. The point is eating, not slaughtering. The Gemara says, another question. Ma'ikra may come out Israel. So why were they Asur in the midbar? Mishum dahabe mekar mishkan because they were near the mishkan, and we don't want them to slaughter as a korban then eat it. وبسط ما تم اشتروا why were they allowed when they went to Israel? تعمل حكم mishkan because they were far from the mishkan, and therefore you would not slaughter as a korban. The chosh nowadays that there is no mishkan, that حكيوا is way further away from the mishkan but there is no hashash for that. So we'll bring a new uh, answer tomorrow. Roch man, men.